Good morning. I'm here with Fralisa Mcfall, and my name is Jennifer Noreen, and Fralisa is the illustrious leader of the Imagination School in Spanaway, Washington. Good morning, Fralisa.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
I see that you have a hairdo change since we last
I do.
visited.
Yes.
It's looking super.
Thank you.
It's very bright and purpley, and I'm sure your kids will love it.
They will.
Yes. I want to know, though, do you have a dress to go with every hair color that you have?
I do not.
You know? We need to hire you a dress hair coordinator. Well, it looks great. It's good to see you. So today we wanted to visit with Fralisa about a couple of things. I guess I will turn the camera here real quick. I'm Jennifer Noreen, and I'm here with Fralisa Mcfall. Hello. We are actually old friends. We went to high school together, and reconnected a short time ago. And I'm just excited to help Fralisa get her classroom full for the fall. She still has some spots. But first things first, please introduce yourself and your school. Fralisa, can you give us a brief rundown?
Yes. So my name is Fralisa Mcfall. I am the owner and founder of Imagination School, where hands-on learning is the new normal. We're a private school, pre-kindergarten through 10th grade, approved by Washington State.
Approved by Washington State, so you're fully accredited.
Yes.
So I can transition here from homeschooling, from public school or private school.
Yes.
And you will help me know where my child needs to be and get them in the right grade level and off to the races.
Yes.
So, and I think it's important to explain, my child can be 14 and in 5th grade, my child can be maybe accelerated ahead of themselves in school, and you can bring them up to speed, get them in a program that's right for them to make progress.
Right, put them in a program that's right for them, you know, that is going to help excel them. They may not make it to that grade level where they need to go in 1 year, but maybe in 2 years, but at least we're going to propel them to be able to do that.
Got it. So it's a varied classroom. You have children here between pre-K and 7th grade?
This year, 8th grade.
8th grade. And the ages would be what?
4 to 14.
So is my 5-year-old in class with a 13-year-old?
They're in the same room with a 13-year-old, but their class is not. So we have two distinct classes. One is pre-kindergarten through 1st grade, and the other one is 2nd through 10th grade. But I never have all of the same grade level. So like, for example, this year we had pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, and then we had 2nd, 3rd, and 8th.
Got it. So you never have every single grade.
Never have every single grade.
Yeah. And do they study both individually on their own and as a group?
Right. So when they're doing reading is done, could be individual or could be done in groups. Math could be done in individuals or group, but most of the time it ends up being individual. I don't believe that kids should stay in one particular math area when they understand it and they need to move on, where somebody else just needs to have a reiteration or a reteaching. So I'm able to devise their own lesson plans for that. Okay? But in the afternoons when we do social studies and science, sometimes we do a huge big group, which is really nice. We did 1 year, we did Moving Through the USA. We call it the Amazing Race to the USA, and the kids got their yellow envelopes. We had 2 groups and they did competitions, and we did it as a whole school. But the assignments that were inside pertain to your level. Yeah.
Wow. So there's some things you do as a group and some things you do on your own individual level. So before we go further, I'm just going to give a quick tour of what the school looks like here. So I see that there's a science area and the entry to the school. It's just one big room. It's a 1-classroom school. And there is a life skills area back here. You can't see, but there's a learning to tie your shoes and just practical skills. And then the far corner, there's a kitchen. And do the kids use the kitchen, Fralisa?
Sometimes we do, but it's not an everyday. We don't serve lunch. The kids don't use their microwave. But we do it for special occasions, like we do it for Thanksgiving. The kids may do, like the older kids will make something once a month that they've scheduled with me and planned with the recipe and what they're going to, how they're going to get through things like muffins or cookies. Yeah.
I didn't mean to stop you, but we lost our internet for a second.
Sure.
So they do work within the kitchen.
So they do, but it's supervised and it's a scheduled time.
Got it. Okay, and then along the back wall, the red cupboards, what is that back there?
The red cabinets it's art, and then also it's like our flag, because we do the pledge every morning, because that's mostly the pre-K kindergarten area, so they have access and to their shapes all the time.
So So that's the pre-K area, and with access to their shapes and their numbers and things. And then what's this here?
And then that area over there is the math area.
Okay, with the counting tools.
So they have counting tools, they have geometry tools, lots of different activities over there for math.
And the back corner.
And the back corner is the office area.
Okay, the back area
is the office area. And then if you move along, we have our
language and reading.
And then our whiteboard that has dictionaries. And then if you move along, there's the writing area where kids learning how to do writing. And we actually do cursive writing here starting in second or third grade.
That's not everywhere.
Right, it is not. Yes. And then our library. Our library is small but mighty. We do like for all the kids to have their own library card.
Nice.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you.
And here's a tent. Why is there a tent in your classroom?
So our theme this year was camping, and the tent was for the VIP for the week. So they were able to do their work at the little table there, or we had a bigger desk.
So sometimes they're studying on their own in the tent.
Right.
So is it just another environment for them to learn in?
It's just another environment and a fun one because you're the VIP.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the special one.
That's right.
That's so cool. Okay, so we know who Fralisa is. And Fralisa, just can you give a brief resume for me? So your education originally was in medical training, or you were thinking about being a doctor? And then you switched.
Yes, I was thinking about being a doctor. So my background is in biology. So I have a degree in biology. And then that wasn't the plans for me. God had other plans for me, and it was in education, so I went and got my teaching certification. And I also have a master's in pastoral studies, which sounds really odd. But pastoral studies has really helped me to become a better teacher because I learned how to listen to the kids and learn to assess them when they walk in the door. And it also gave me great ways to do conflict management.
Got it. So you probably learned a lot about people.
Sure did.
How to work well with people.
Yes.
And I think one of the things I admire the most about teachers and administrators is their amazing skill at working with all different kinds of parents. Because really you have a child in your classroom, but really you have mom and dad too. And if there's a sister caring for the child, you have the sister mom, or you have the uncle dad, or whatever. So the diversity required is incredible to me.
Yes.
And I know they give people skills to teachers, but I think that's just one of the things you probably use the most.
Yes.
So I'm a special needs parent, and I'm sure that they use their skills dealing with me. Can you just touch on that really quickly? That if I know you talked about the different ages and grade levels, but if I have a special needs child or a child with learning challenges, you take some of those children, some of those you can't. So can you comment on that?
So I'm not a special needs teacher as far as my certification. However, my thing is children learn at every age and with different tools. And there's some kids I can take because they're self-sufficient students, okay? And they don't disrupt the classroom. But there's some students who are not self-sufficient, and because I don't have the staffing for them.
Because you don't have the staffing for them.
I don't have the staffing for them. It would be a disservice to have them at my school.
Got it.
And those who need more because they have challenges in the classroom with disruption, it makes it really hard for a learning environment. I want to make sure that everybody has a really good experience at school. Okay?
You can't be all things to all children.
Exactly.
And admitting that and working within those parameters is probably makes a lot of sense for everybody.
Yeah. It's hard to tell someone that this isn't the program for them because they need something more, but at the same time, I need to do that.
Sure. I get you. So thank you. So thanks for introducing all of that. Again, this is Fralisa Mcfall, and she's the founder and the owner and the teacher at Imagination School that's located in the Sprinker Recreation Center in Spanaway, Washington.
Yes.
Do you service all of this region, Pierce County, King, or just as far as people want to drive?
As far as people want to drive. But I will tell some parents, if I know that, for example, if you are a parent that's living in Bonnie Lake and you want to bring your preschooler here, I would tell you no, because that's such a drive to get here that they're probably tired when they get here.
Right.
So for that age group from Bonnie Lake, I would say no.
Yeah.
If they were middle school, not a problem.
Right. Yeah. Or if mom's driving in anyway for a commute
Right,
or
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and we get that. We get parents who do. They work here already. They made the kids stay at grandma's before they go to a school. So then would be okay too.
Got it. And is the tuition something that's paid annually or monthly or quarterly? How does that work?
It could be annual if you want to. You could do quarterly, or there's a monthly payment. So we have a 10-month payment plan and a 12-month payment plan.
Got it. Okay, very good. So we wanted specifically to visit today about the COVID-19 environment and what's going on in education in general, and but what are you specifically doing to make your classroom in your school a safe place for kids in regards to COVID-19? And I know that there's standards, and then there's just creative ways to apply those standards. So can you just talk a little bit about, you've shared here before we got on the video a lot of knowledge that you have, and but can you share just a little bit of what address some of the concerns that parents are going to have, I guess?
Right. So I think one of the biggest concerns that parents have is making sure that their kids or child is being educated, along with making sure there's social distancing. Okay? So let me just go through some of the things that the kids will be able to do, that they'll need to do while they're here at school. So when they first enter the school door, they do need to wear a mask. At our school, we're going to require that the kids should have 5 different masks, so that way they can get washed on the weekends. Okay? That way they're just wearing a different one every day. They'll get their temperature taken. If you have a high temperature, or if you're coughing or sneezing, you can't come to school. Okay? And that's part of one of the regulations that's being handed down. Okay? Kids already bring their own lunch, so having a self-packed lunch, which schools have to do, our students will already have a self-packed lunch. So they'll be able to have their packed lunch. And I haven't decided.
So the parents are sending a self-packed lunch? So the parents are sending a lunch with the child?
Right. Parents always send a lunch with the child here at our school.
Got it.
Our decision is, where are we going to put it? Are the kids going to still keep it on the table, or are we going to have them sit it by their desk? So that way it's still apart. So that's some of the logistics we'll need to work out in our school. Okay? We will do social distancing with the desk. So every child, we actually ordered more desks. As we're contemporary Montessori, we do a lot of things at the table. And like our pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, as you saw, have odd tables. Kids cannot, in order to be 6 feet apart, kids cannot face each other. One of the regulations is that all kids face the same direction. So that means putting a plexiglass, That means putting a plexiglass on the table and either burying it in with nails or clamping it. So I really don't want holes in the tables, because when we get to the point where we don't need the plexiglass.
So after the plexiglass is gone, you don't want to have to deal with damaged furniture.
Exactly. Right.
And all of that.
So
you decided to order some more desks.
Yeah, we ordered more desks. So every child will be 6 feet apart. Okay. So they'll be 6 feet apart from the edge of their desk to the other edge of the other child's desk. So they'll actually have a little bit more than a 6 feet social distancing, because most kids are not 2 feet wide. They're little tiny ones. So they'll have that little edge of their desk they're not using, plus the 6 feet, plus the other edge of the desk of the other child.
Got it.
We're also not going to be sitting kids one right behind each other. There was a video or a Zoom call that I was on that we can do more of a hexagon. So like the old theater style, when we had one row was here, but you were between the 2 seats, right? So we're going to do that, where there'll still be that 3 feet distance to those other desks behind them and in front of them.
Right.
All right? We're also going to have kids closer to the wall, not quite, because I don't want them to really be able to touch the shelving. Right. Okay, but they'll be closer to the wall, so we can be able to make sure we have that 6 feet social distancing.
Got it.
So kids can wear masks, or they can wear the face shields. So the CDC and OSPI and all the powers that be said that students can do that. Teachers can wear the face shield also in the classroom. One reason why is because kids need to see our face. My students say that I talk through my eyes. So they need to be able to also see this and see some of the emotions that I have on my face. That's part of learning. So I can wear a face shield in the classroom also. The time that I will need to wear a mask is if I'm talking to a parent. So if a parent wants a conference We still need to have the 6 feet distancing, but then I can wear my face shield, but I'll need to have a mask on also. Okay, so I can either have the mask and the face shield or just the mask when I'm talking to a parent.
Got it.
Okay, and I'm going to limit our time with the parents, because parents, wonderful, you guys are wonderful. Yes, we are. Parents like to talk at the beginning. If you want a conference, it'll be something that you will have to schedule, but it'll be for after school. Okay?
So if parents usually want to chat with you at the beginning of school, but
exactly,
you're going to schedule it to be after school.
Schedule it after.
Yeah. If it's, where do I get a shield?
Okay. You know,
I've seen them on medical professionals. I didn't even know there was a way for common people that don't work in healthcare to.
One thing that was really nice is that with being a private school, we were able to order masks, face shields, gloves with other schools through the independent schools, through their website or their site, and they're trying to get us to do a mass order to drive the prices down for us. So that's how I was able to get a face shield. I still have to pay for it, but I was able to do that. I have been talking to some of my friends, and some of them say that there are people like on Etsy or on Amazon where you can be able to order face shields. But
so that's the plastic with the clear.
Right. It's the one that you see them wearing with the little headband, that clear
like
plastic.
George Jetson style or something. Yeah. This is such a crazy time we live in.
It is.
Wow. And so kids can wear those or a face mask.
Or a face mask in class. Exactly.
Wow. Classrooms are going to look interesting.
They are. Kids cannot share equipment. So when you looked around and she showed you the room, or if you were to go into and look at our virtual tour, you'll see all the different amazing things that we have at school to help students with learning. Kids cannot share the equipment. So we have to figure out a way to be creative. So one way we're going to do is, there is some individual things that I've found that somebody has created in paper mode. So they took one of our particular learning activities, and I'll say like the base 10 blocks, because those have like the cube that's 1,000, or that has like the bar that's 10, and they made in paper. Okay.
Just tools that are not shared and all gummed up. And
exactly. And then I don't have to disinfect them all the time, especially when I need to have 2 or 3 students use them that day.
Sure.
Okay. So we would get the paper mode. I would give them to the parents. The parents would cut them out, bring them back to school in a Ziploc bag, and that, with the child's name on it, stays in their desk. So that's one way to use the equipment.
Okay. So lots of face shields and masks, no shared equipment. I know you talked about library books and disinfecting them one by one. Children won't be able to go to the library wall and just grab whatever, which makes sense.
Yeah.
We all got to admit, we all got those yucky looking books as kids, and you kind of wondered, like, is this okay why is my mom letting me touch this book? She always washed it. You know, it's kind of crazy, right? Remember how dirty and yucky things look? So it is interesting how COVID-19 is adjusting us a little bit.
Yes.
I know I think it's really putting the airline industry to task, you know, because I think planes are kind of gross, and now they're kind of having to deal with that. So I'm kind of excited about that. So anyway, okay, well, so if I want to sign up for your school, because I'm listening to you and I just think what I hear is great, and you're going to keep my child safe, and you are definitely in compliance. You're licensed. You're, you know, working with the state of Washington. If I'm coming from a homeschool or private or public, it sounds like a conversation we could have. You even take some kids with some special learning, but that would take a conversation.
Right.
So if I'm interested in learning more, what's the best way for me to reach out to you?
Okay, so there's 3 different ways you can reach out. One, because we're on Facebook, you can go ahead and send me a Facebook message, okay? And we can start the conversation there. Usually what I'll tell you, if you're already on Facebook, go and look at the virtual tour that we have for school. Once you look at the virtual tour, message me, tell me you've watched it, and you can either, 1, sign up for a tour to come to school and see things in person and we can have a conversation, or we can do a Zoom meeting. Okay.
So are there in-person tours or no?
Yes.
There are in-person.
So that's why I said when you can sign up for it, it is your choice, right?
Got it.
If you do come for an in-person tour, you are limited to 2 people, and we ask for no children. Yes, there are what we're looking for. However, our classroom is set up to be inviting, and I don't want to keep having to tell a child, or for the parent to keep telling the child, you can't touch that. Okay? So I want them to have a good experience. I don't want them to know me as the person that says that can't touch all the time. Okay? So 2 people can come for the tour. You'll have to wear a face mask, and I will take your temperature before you come into the building.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds fair.
Yep. And then, thank you. And then the Zoom, we can just go ahead and have a Zoom meeting, okay, where I can answer your questions also.
So you'll send a link to the Zoom meeting and we'll set up a time.
Yes, I will.
Sounds good. Now, do you have a website?
I do have a website. It is imaginationschool.org, O-R-G.
Okay. And do I apply there or do I apply through you?
For a tour?
If I want to apply for the school, is that a paper process or is that something I can do online?
It is. Right now it's a paper process. We're working for online, but right now it's a paper process.
Got it.
So I am trying to get it where I can make it one PDF. Right now it's just individual sheets, which I can easily send. But right now I'm looking to make a PDF of it. But you can go ahead and email me or send me a Facebook message. Email is imaginationschooltacoma@gmail.com.
imaginationschooltacoma@gmail.com. And your phone number is?
And our phone number for school is 253-535-2522.
So lots of ways to reach out.
Lots of ways.
Sounds
yes.
good.
There's also some Facebook ads that you might see that's Imagination School. Click on it. It'll take you directly to to book a tour link.
Sounds good.
Yes.
So, and in the meantime, we're going to be going live here hopefully once a week. So we'll announce the go lives at least a day in advance. So if you do have questions and you want to submit them for the go live session, you can do that in the comments during the go live, or you can send Fralisa a Facebook message ahead of time, and she can address your question online, however you want to do that. I think this is helpful. I think people are getting to know you and your school a little bit better.
Thank you.
In a different way.
So I do know that there's a couple other questions that people have. Is one about recess. Okay.
And I want to ask you too about the day, like when the day starts and ends and things like that.
So we can talk about that. So because all kids 3 and up have to wear a mask at school, we are in conversation, and I say we as in the independent schools and public schools, on does that mean that when they go out for recess, can we go out to recess? Can they take their mask off for recess? Where's the social distancing? So all that is we're still having a conversation on that. Right now, they are suggesting that the kids do have some outdoor time. We're trying to figure out and find out, we as independent schools and other schools, what does that look like? Does that look like kids with their mask on and they get to play? Are they in their own little 6 feet bubble? I know that they can't share equipment like the balls and things like that. So what does recess really look like? Okay. Also, I want to get my kids outside. They can do their math just to get outside for a little bit. You know, what do I need to do? Right now, I thought of some hula hoops. Because I can actually put hula hoops down on the grass, okay? Put them 6 feet apart so everybody can still have their social distancing area and they know where they need to sit in order to do their work or lay down on the grass, you know.
They just need the vitamin D too. They need the sunshine and
yes.
to get outside.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're thinking about that.
So we're thinking ahead about that. And because I don't want the kids to sit in their desk the whole time. We cannot be at a lunch table. No school can be at their lunchroom. Your lunch is brought to your desk. So you're really confined to this area. So we're trying to figure out what are ways that we can move out from that desk to maybe outside. Still social distancing, but it's in a different area. We also have a lot of equipment that we would like the kids to use as far as a shelf time activity. So if you're finished with your math, because the kids cannot get up, put a carpet square down, get something off the shelf, we would do this. Everybody finishes their activity at one time. If you're finished, you have the library book on your desk. You might have a coloring sheet or another activity that you can work on. Then we would have a shared shelf time, and I shared as far as we do it all together, where I would be able to watch the students, making sure they're walking correctly and keeping their social distancing, where they can pick something off a shelf to be able to do for a shelf activity. But once that child has used it, and they put it back, they would put it on the table, which would be the needs to disinfect table, so that it'll be disinfected that night and it'll be reused the next day. Yeah. So that way they can still get shelf time in with the activities that we have, you know, and still be able to have fun in school, not just doing work the whole time.
Right. So there's ways to share things, and
right.
probably have to buy some duplicates of some things.
Yes. Paper ones, right. Yeah. Or have another activities that I can do. So that's part of what I'm looking at is what are some projects that I have, what is something that they can make, be it puppets or cards or, an art project or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to share with a parent who's concerned about COVID-19? Anything?
The other thing is I just want parents to if you have questions, just ask me. You can Facebook message me if I haven't covered something. But we are going to be as safe as we can. And I'll be keeping people up to date, especially if you are already a registered family. I'll be sending emails about this is what the CDC is suggesting, the guidelines are set down by OSPI. This is what we're going to be doing. Then if they come out with a new set of regulations, okay, great, I've talked about this with the other independent schools. This is what we're doing because this is what we hear. It's been changed. This is what we're going to be doing in school.
Yeah, so you function with a network of other independent schools. It's
yes.
Not like you're out here flying on your own.
Right.
So you're all making some good decisions together, it sounds like. Sounds really good. Well, thank you for your time today. So I just want to wrap up with some super practical details. So when does school start?
School starts the Wednesday after Labor Day, and it is, let me look it up really quickly here.
And when do I have to contact you to register by?
As soon as possible. So school starts the September 9th.
So school is, day one of school is September 9th.
September 9th, it's a Wednesday.
Fralisa
yes.
on her website, imaginationschool.org. Or give her a call at
253-535-2522.
Or imaginationschooltacoma@gmail.com.
Exactly.
And do that as soon as possible so that you can have the application filled out and work out payments and be ready to have your child start in September, on September 9th. And then what time does the day run? What time of day does school start?
School starts at 8:30 and ends at 3:30.
Got it. So it's at 8:30 to 3:30. And is there an after-school program or some kind of alternative for a mom or a dad that has to have their child occupied until 5 o'clock?
We have a study hall that is after school. It's not a structured like activities like cooking or anything like that, but it's a time when the kids can do their work. I think with this particular time period with the COVID-19, it's really hard to keep them at their desk because that's where they would be. So I don't want to encourage it. I would love for parents to find an alternate way that they can pick up their child at 3:30. But if it's something that they need, then we can really have a conversation around that and what that would look like.
So it's available if absolutely needed, but other alternatives are probably better. So.
Yes, during this time period, yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, very good. Again, this is Fralisa Mcfall, who's the owner and teacher at the Imagination School at the Sprinkerville Recreation Center in Spanaway, Washington. She serves all, as far as you want to drive in, but really like Pierce and South King, probably counties. She is an independent private school, and she's available to speak with you about the details of her school and getting started working with her to educate your child. So thanks for the nice chat today, Fralisa.
Thank you.
We'll be talking to you again soon. I'm Jennifer Noreen, and I'm working with Fralisa to get the word out more about her school online. And I'm anxious to speak with you again and cover more topics.
Yes.
So we'll talk again. Thanks, Fralisa.
Thank you. Bye-bye.